Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the podcast dedicated to helping you unlock your full potential through the power of mindset. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte, a transformative creator and multi-award-winning trailblazer, as she guides you on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. With a background in corporate leadership and workforce development, Dr. Alisa has dedicated her career to inspiring individuals to achieve their goals and dreams. Known as the #1 mindset disruptor, she firmly believes that the key to success lies within the mind. Dr. Whyte has witnessed the incredible impact a shift in mindset can have on one's life, career, and relationships. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just beginning your journey of self-discovery, you'll find valuable lessons, inspiring stories, and practical tools to elevate your life. In each episode, Dr. Alisa engages with thought leaders, coaches, and changemakers from around the globe, exploring their journeys and the mindsets that have propelled them to success. Get ready to reframe your perspective, embrace challenges, and cultivate the mindset necessary to achieve your dreams. Now let's dive into today's episode and discover how to master your mindset for a brighter, more fulfilling future.
Welcome back to another episode of Mindset Mastery Moments with Dr. Alisa Whyte, the show where you dive into power of the mindset and transformation in your life, your business, career, and relationship with a total, absolute 360 sense of purpose. I'm Dr. Alisa Whyte, your host, and today I have my buddy and great friend. We have been friends for almost 5 years, working and just doing amazing things together. But this show is not about me. Arthur, we're so happy to have you with us today.
So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, Arthur, I'm going to tell the audience about you, and not just that you're my buddy and friend, because that's not the only great thing about you. It's just one of those things, right? Well, one of the big things that I'm excited to dive into with my friend today is that he just finished publishing a book that has already taken a storm. It's called The 11 Pillars of Confidence. And Arthur is a leader in personal empowerment. Arthur's unique approach, which he calls the vertical mindset, and I can't wait to dive into this, has helped countless individuals elevate their confidence and live purpose-driven lives. I am so thrilled to have you here, Arthur, and let me tell you, he is respected as a personal and development coach, author, and the driving force behind Vertical Mindset Group. His expertise is in the field of confidence building, as he is led to create that 11 pillars of confidence we're going to talk about, and a foundational guide for anyone who's looking to transform their mindset and lead with unbreakable self-assurance. With years of experience guiding individuals to overcome limiting beliefs, Arthur has developed a unique approach to achieving personal empowerment that resonates as a global scale. Yes, he's global, baby. I did say he was my friend, right? So Arthur, without further ado, I'm going to have you tell us who you are and what you do.
First of all, thank you for having me on here. This is an amazing show, changing so many lives, and I'm about people changing lives, as you know, me personally. But for you all out there, you don't know that part of my mission in life is to build over 1 million leaders that I can help cultivate, help inspire in the way that God or the Master Universe planned for us to be, that interconnectedness and striving for what that looks like. So let me begin by saying and introducing, my name is Arthur J. Rutledge. I'm a mindset and leadership speaker, coach, and trainer. Me and Elise, we went back so far back to our mentor, John C. Maxwell, and getting that good leadership tutelage. Yes. And now we, as we combine and in separate spaces, want to cultivate the world, I understand that having this leadership protocol is in place. And so what way to help people to find what that looks like in their life? By giving them some pillars or some steps in confidence. And so 2.5 months ago, now bestseller on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, which I've been at next all the way up. You know, we're looking for a New York Times. Well,
that's not right.
But long as I can put some of these ideas, and confidence is the thing that we talk about the least and the most, but know that we definitely need. So I want to, take that that flattened person, that person that feels flat, and put some zap into what their life can be. Put some pep in their step. Put some lightning into their bones so they can take on whatever is in front of them. And that is my ultimate goal. I am a multiple entrepreneur as well. I started with Cap Group Events, which is here in New York City, planning some of the better events and restaurants and clubs in New York City. Then I said, why not just take the vertical ideas that I'm putting in place while I'm pointing up 211s, which is for the 11 Pillars of Confidence, which is the name of my book. Take that to the next level and let people know that I have a vertical mindset. And so now I have Vertical Mindset Consulting LLC, which is new this year as well with my book. So just a lot of great motion that goes with making sure you have the right confidence in place. And we'll go into that a lot deeper on that side of it. Also launched my website and got recognized as a critically acclaimed author by the Los Angeles Tribune just recently as well, which is just a great recognition and gives me such happiness that I can be able to give that back and help do what that mission is, which is help you all get to the best place that you can be.
How exciting. Congratulations. So much has happened since we have not done Clubhouse for a few months. I'm a little bit out of the loop. We're both busy just rocking around and doing immense great things. Just congratulations on all of it. And we're just so happy about what you're doing with Vertical Mindset. You know, you're also part of Mindset Mastery 360 as a supporter and an honorary leader there quietly. And so you're going to bring this vertical mindset to the community soon. I can't wait to have you teach us. But
I almost forgot one thing though.
What?
I forgot one more thing because it's just, God has really blessed me this year. I became the executive contributor for Brains Magazine. So I have articles coming out every month.
You got to write about me.
Well, we going to get to that. That's something. And I said, why do I keep forgetting to say that? It's not that I forget. It's just that when you're on a mission. Well, when you're on a mission to get to,
just keep going.
People, you gotta stack the chips. That's how they end up in your favor.
That's right. I know I will be there. We'll get together and work on that. We're going to talk something about the movement. But let me ask you this. So the big word today is vertical mindset. You know, Mindset Mastery, we talk about mindsets all the time. We talk about the growth mindset, the entrepreneurial mindset, the purpose-driven mindset. I mean, you name it, I got a mindset for it. But I do not know what the vertical mindset is. And I'm pretty sure everyone's curious. I mean, 11, the open door, is represented and in your book when you talk about the 11 pillars of confidence. So what is the vertical mindset? And could you give us an overview of what it really means and why it's so essential to personal growth and development?
Interesting. When I started speaking, I always remember to point upward because we always are looking towards the stars, romancing about the sky and the clouds and how the sun goes down, our sunsets and our sunrises. And I want to point in a place where people could always know that they have the opportunity and the appointment to at any time in their lives if they just remembered that. So I said, listen, I'm giving the mindset that I want that to be. And now on stages, I'm pointing towards the brain, letting them know that that's the destination. And then reminding them back up. And the 2 fingers was the reason that I made 11 pillars of confidence. Like you said, the gateway. You know, we think about football, you know, the goalpost is made in that, you know, we want to call it the big U, but the 2 outstanding points on that U is the 2 sides of it where you got to get directly through there. So you have to have sharpened focus and you have to be able to evaluate and then do it in action, doing it in purpose, doing it with your purpose, and then come back and then reevaluate. So it always seems like we're going to be going back and forth when we're about to reach our goal. We're always, we talk about emotional roller coasters and what that can look like, in our lives. Sometimes we're high, sometimes we're low. Confidence is the same way. I said, it's no other word besides courage that I think, and obviously love.
Right.
That's more profound in our societies than how we approach the things that we say we want in our lives. So vertical mindset is that vertical leap. When I was growing up, I wanted to dunk the basketball. The faster I could do it, the more popular I got, the more self-esteem that I felt. By the time I practiced and failed and practiced and fallen and got back up, every time, what do? We want to hit that goal. We kept looking up. And at the end of the day, by the time I got that basketball to the goal, I knew I was getting somewhere. I hadn't exactly made it, but I felt I knew what that accomplishment was, because so many people had stopped or failed and rejected the idea of going through that. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that they can get that slam dunk. You just got to jump high enough in your dreams.
Oh, I love that. So well said. We can do it. We just have to jump high enough. So, lovely. You kind of covered my first two questions. Now let's dive into those 11 pillars of confidence, right? In your book, you outlined those 11 pillars. And could you walk us through these pillars and how they collectively support personal growth?
Okay. Of course, going through my book, I wanted to have it in front of me, so I was very clear about what I was.
Yes, I got an e-copy. I don't have a book yet with your autograph on it.
Well, first of all, you have to get that. but the second thing is, which is more important, just reading it, the action.
Yes, it's powerful.
Everybody, no matter what you decide to purchase on the book, just get the book.
Just get the book. Yeah.
Just get the book. The little steps mean a lot.
And it's not complicated. It's not a complicated book. You're going to get those principles. And so tell us about it.
So people say, why 11 pillars? Well, at first it was going to be 9 pillars. And I was never going to make it because if you're making it then I knew that people were going to say, that's not what I would say. So I gave him my experience starting just with 11 and made that the golden number. And, from 9 to 11, 2 chapters, but that's a lot for a lot of people. So I know that I was stretching myself because I knew that I had more to say.
Yes.
And so that's a practice in itself. And so when I got to the point where I said, this is the thing that I want people to understand, but this is what I really wanted them to understand. And then the subtitle came into play, build and lead and empowers you. And that in itself helps us step into it and understand that first we're building. And then second, we're always building. The building doesn't stop. It keeps going.
Right.
And people get to remember that when you stop, then everybody else can catch up to you. The rest of life catches up to you. It keeps growing. Life automatically, we got new technology different from 20 years ago. The people who stop growing or building that castle of purpose or respect or love for themselves, they might be 20 years behind. 10 years behind.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure that these things, these principles that sometimes people might overlook come into play. The first one is start with confidence.
Yes.
I can't think of a better way to put you in a better place if you want to be at a place of confidence. Some people are low frequency. Some people have probably been low frequency all their lives. This helps you to step into it in an easy, simple way. And it's probably one of the shortest chapters because I do want you all to keep going in the process. And, if I overwhelmed you maybe in the first chapter, maybe, you might think you figured it out. And that's what we do a lot of times. But this part of it is starting with confidence, is making sure that confidence is first defined and put in place for you. The second one, chapter 2, meet your dreams every day. Every day we get to wake up and put our best foot forward. And we get to put our best foot forward first before we start to walk.
Yeah.
And before we start to run, we get to make sure that we're not wobbling while we're walking.
Right.
And for us to be able to jump, to get that slam dunk, to kick that field goal, or even just to make sure that there's not a lot of opposition, we don't let the opposition slow us down. We always get to make sure that we're touching the things that keeps us fired up.
Yeah.
Being with your dream by putting fire on your desire is one of my famous quotes. And the first thing is, if you're beaming with your dream, nobody can slow you down. You don't take your eyes to the dark off of the shine.
Yeah.
So I define that for people in that side of things. The third chapter goes into let's go to grow. Maybe a lot of people have heard maybe the phrase or the axiom, let go and let God. Letting go is the period where we all put our baggage down, the things that may have dragged us around and slowed us up and put us in a bad situation, and make sure that when we appreciate that struggle, that understanding, we have an understanding with ourselves, then we can grow.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you see plants, you see trees, they get some water in, but it ain't enough water.
Right.
Some fruits, we know, like we got to do it in the right way. We got to dig up the soil. We have to go through a process, and I help people along the lines with how they can discover that process and get past all the fooey and get to the kung fu. Get to the nitty gritty of what that is for them to grow. Chapter 4, keep your eyes on the target, the focus chapter. It makes sure that everything gets sharpened with the steps that we have, even if, and be okay with the failing, be okay with the mistakes, but just get good at the things. If it's just one step, two step, or in a season, or even if you just feel slowed down for some reason, just remembering that the target, when it's in place, that's your 1 year goal. That's your 5 year goal. That's your 10-year goal. Those are things that plans that might get shaken a little bit. You get to grow agility around what that can be for your life. 5 is being present is fulfillment. People are looking for this idea of happiness. But happiness is right under our nose. When we smell the flowers, when we see the trees, when we have all 5 of our senses that are in play, that we can utilize to our betterment, only if we were just right there with the present. And the present, I heard before, is definitely the gift of life. If you are willing to accept and embrace it and allow it to really bring gratitude and appreciation to what you're up to. I always say value your value. The only way you can capsize a ship is with a heavy tide. Don't you know that Rumi says you're the mighty ocean in the drop. Rumi gives us. So remembering that presence helps us to fill those gaps and make sure that we stay afloat and don't ever have to worry about sinking. The 6th chapter, connect, consider, and convert.
Connect, consider, and convert. I like that.
I couldn't think of a better way for us to start to move forward and then also modify and adjust in our direction, in our vision. Know that when we come to places where we feel stopped, is never stopped. We have to just pull on that imagination that everybody talks about, from personal development, from Earl Nightingale to Napoleon Hill. We get to know what is empowering to us during this process. Write down the notes. At the end of every chapter, I make sure that, thoughts and feelings is something that you can come to and be able to understand and equate better ideas, that the things that did work for you, the things that didn't work for you, and the things that you get to add, or just to get on paper the things that are in your brain, so you can you can free up that imagination, that creativity, to go from A, B, C, and all the way to Z. The chapter 7, I am, the mantra, made sure that, that side of people, they get to know I am. That should be the mantra. That's the mantra that the Lord that I serve has given us in the good book that a lot of us read into, and let us know that that's the name that he gave himself. And so seeing ourselves in him is an empowerment that leads to strength, that leads to the things that is going to give us that vertical mindset and that true confidence that we all deserve. So that's one of probably my favorite chapters on there. I go into depth in a few different stories and make sure that we always can remember to come back to the powerful ones that makes up I am, which is me and you. The 8th chapter, be not wise in your own opinion. And I got that from the good book as well. And remembering that, we can be pompous, we can be prideful at places because we hit those high notes in our lives at given times, or we might even hold on to those and become complacent in those high notes. And I always remember the story of only 90%, 10% of the 100% of people who got the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
Throughout history, only moved on, did something more, kept their dream alive. And you have to know how to humble yourself to a place where you understand, yeah, I got that done, and that's great. But what am I up to now that, I'm not holding myself, accountable for? And so it's the holding of accountability and making sure that we're not forgetting everybody around us when we get those. We can put our hand down to lift somebody up. It's all those type of things that makes us have an even keel, and making sure that our life is dealt more around harmony than which is strife and comparison and validating ourselves, at different times. So these things come into play, and we all get to know them, that they're part of that confidence spectrum as we go along. The 9th chapter, choices that bring change. I had to put this in there because as we continue to grow,
that's deep. Choices that bring change. Wow, man!
I had to put that. To put that in place because we are so unwilling to change in our lives.
Yeah.
But change is coming for us nonetheless.
It's one thing that's guaranteed is change.
It's our
preparation and our acceptance of change that makes change something that either works for us or works against us. I agree. I love that.
And the choices, I find that you can make a decision. The decisions are great, but sometimes decisions can lock you into something. It doesn't give you a lot of mobility. But choice gives you more open-mindedness to your opportunities that are going to come for you. That's openness of the doors, or the optimism that comes from an open mind that becomes the practice all the time, and making sure that we get that satisfaction in our lives that makes us really feel that fulfillment.
Yes.
That we might not get at different times. And so whether it's time to leave that job, leave that job, make a plan, put it out there. You don't have to be stagnated by what a lack of a choice just because it's painful at the time. So it helps you to also face what you need to face right now,
right,
to get to that right change,
right.
the right changes. So, and then chapter 10, the way of agape is a legacy. Me and Elise, we both have worked very hard in
Yes.
the people that we have become.
Yes.
And we were able to be blessed to be on the talk, our talks in what I have as Agape Legacies group on Clubhouse, which is still phenomenal. Is whatever you have in your way, or whatever you have at your disposal, utilize it. And that's what we did coming out of 2020, and empowered each other in the process. And that I made as an acronym: awareness, growth, altruism, purpose, and enthusiasm.
Yes.
And I broke that down, but I also let it understand that whenever you have what we call God type love, what God gives to us, the way God sees us, the way that we should see each other without judgment, without shame, without blame, to get over our doubts, get over those unnecessary fears or self-rejection, whatever that looks like. It starts with the ultimate love. We have to practice it. And agape is what that is in Greek, God's ultimate love. So when I stepped into what that looked like and put it in this chapter, I had to, let people know that leadership and legacy starts with you leading yourself.
That's right.
I always say leadership is a long word for us leading ourselves. And the practice of that is not done enough. And that's why a lot of things slip through unseen crevices in our life that might come up. We walked through an earthquake, and we understand we went through an earthquake. We're scared for a minute, but we forget, even when we still walk over those huge cracks in the sidewalk that shook us up in our lives, we decide not to look at face forward and know that this is the thing that helped me decide to do something this way, this way. But everything connects. All our thoughts connect. Every one of them.
They piggyback and they feed each other. So you have to. That's why you give consideration to each thought.
100%. So that's, and knowing that if you get the mastery of that, if you learn self-mastery around how the locus of your inner or intrinsic locus of control, if it can be focused on, you can give that forward to people who's in an extrinsic mode of thinking or control, thinking that outside circumstances run who they are versus who they are or what they are practicing on a daily basis to strengthen themselves on a daily basis. So it goes in so deep, and it's probably one of the longer ones. And chapter 11, the confidence called courage. We get to always know, we always get to remember that we are the courage that we embrace for ourselves. And a stepping into ourselves each and every day by way of all of the other 10 chapters will get us to the highest form of love, appreciation, and enlightenment.
Yes.
But even if we can't get to just the enlightenment, we're not going to just be sitting there maybe like a Buddha, off to the side, with a smile on our face, but we can maybe just get to the place of peace. And so the biggest part of this book is I wanted to touch people from the masculine and feminine side of their brains to come at a place where they could be at a calm confidence by believing in themselves more than they did before they picked up the book.
Wow, I love that. It just dawns on me as I think about it. Confidence often, there's often so many obstacles that people face with that, whether it's fear, doubt, negative self-talk. What are some of those common barriers you've seen people really encounter, and what mindset shifts can you help push them with these 11 pillars to get past those challenges?
I think more people than not, when I actually just was making my mind up, and I had a great friend that gave me, he says, you are the most confident person that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking of, whatever title. This is while you're fishing your brain, maybe I was too much in my head about what that was, or didn't look enough into the person that I had become by way of embracing, trusting my process, trusting the things that had been put in my way, whether they were obstacles or whether they were open doors. I engineered better operations by way of the person that I saw in myself. So I think people don't see. People might be confident.
Yes.
And show up confidence. But I feel like it's three parts of confidence that people overlook: self-esteem, self-value, and self-worth. Value and worth, different things. But if you have all three of these, you can have a healthy confidence, or at least a constructive confidence, where you can look things at things as they are, not what they seem, or what we impose or make a narrative of. So we put the wrong narratives in our story about who we are becoming.
Wow, that's deep.
And so the confidence side of what that looks like at the end of the day is, am I seeing a person that's worthy for this? Am I getting that job that I've been saying that I wanted for 6 years? And then when I get it, my work starts failing. I start, not doing the work that it took for me to get the last 6 months or 6 years to get. If I don't feel worthy, then I'll feel resistance to taking on the same way I was, for one or two reasons. And one of the biggest reasons is we don't know what we don't know. So that's a part of ignorance, right?
You can't know.
We don't know what we don't know.
What you don't know.
But
exactly.
but the other side is that maybe that wasn't our biggest dream. Maybe we did that to offset the fact that we have a bad boss. We have terrible coworkers. I don't like this profession, even though I went to school for 4 to 8 years. So we thought it was the money.
It was about the money,
raise.
Because it's a 6-figure job right off the bat. Why not, right?
But if we hide from what our worth is, we won't know that we're worthy for bigger and better things. Onward and upward.
And bigger and better is usually what's most fulfilling. And then as a byproduct, the money comes and all the other things that are more when you do come to it. It's that feeling and sense of fulfillment and, being elated about what I get to do every day is what's so driving. And no matter how long it takes, every human gets to the point where they're unfulfilled because they were choosing based on instant gratification, based on common votes or popular opinion, whatever it is. We're driven from the external side itself. This is why when you said self-leadership, it's that level of, it's not only about taking care and being responsible for yourself and owning your stuff. It's also leading from where I say your true values, core beliefs, and your purpose. When you're taking initiative and leading your life from that internal space, that's where that fulfillment. And honestly, the more confident you become in who you are and why you are, then what you do and how you do it becomes so much, I wouldn't say easier, but it gets simple. It's uncomplicated. And so for me, that's where that confidence kicks in. Like, it doesn't matter who's on the podcast, who's coming or not. We're going to have a podcast because I'm confident in the message and the words that I have to give to the world enough that if no one's coming, if no one's editing, if no one's booking, I'm good because it's my call and part of my purpose to do this podcast with or without help, right?
Amen.
And that confidence will have me get up and put content together or put on red lipstick or a nice shirt or whatever, or sometimes just be just a regular day and get on here anyway, because the confidence exists where that self-leadership began and continues to grow, right? So here's a question I have for you. How does developing confidence go beyond personal growth and now into that positive impact of community and relationships? Because, the theme for the podcast is your mindset is the key to your success. But not only we are going in Mindset Mastery 360 that your mindset can also elevate your socioeconomic conditions. And not just for you, but for your community, for your family, for legacy. How you think really impacts all that, right? This is why you have these 11 pillars. This is why you have vertical mindset principle, because you probably believe so. So tell us, how does this apply, this confidence factor with the 11 pillars and the vertical mindset all together? Really, this help us create positive impact in the community and in our relationships as well.
Confidence, if we have, again, I mentioned before about the self-worth, Jamie Kern Lima just get a great book, Worthy, right?
Yes.
Because we need to face a lot of the things that we haven't faced before. And it doesn't mean that we have low self-esteem per se, but one dips into the other at different times, right? So if we feel some type of trauma from past things that didn't work out the way we planned or worked out horribly, we can feel like we want to revert back to not feeling enough in the person that we are. But unfortunately, in our society, and we see the way that our society is interacting right now, it's so much turbulence. And when you have that hit you, and you're not be able to stand up straight, even in those times, or practice what that is, your bad day turns into a worse day. And you're not able to, and then it stops communication. It stops the mental communication with yourself, the loving patience, the loving kindness, the appreciation. It locks it up like in a prison, and it can leave it there in this dark type of dungeon. And then you get all these other things that are, thrown at you through the bars, and you feel totally out of control. So confidence is courage, is the courage to do in spite of the things that we can or feel like we can do, in spite of what that looks like for us. Wow. We get to and remembering what that can be for other people. So I'll give a story. I did not know my value, which I haven't talked about. I talked about worthiness. I've always felt that I was worthy to do the things, because in a good book it says if you plant fruit, you are worthy to eat from it. In Psalms. And I remember, for me, a person coming up to me, he's giving me a book. I just helped him connect a multi-million-dollar deal.
Right.
I was already doing events. I was showing up confident, but I always had value situation. Do I value what I'm doing to be able to, I had good self-esteem. I knew that I was worthy to receive the things after I did them and things like that. I didn't feel ashamed or doubt for a thing. I don't deserve it. But the value is so centered and so important. And he says, you just create this deal. You didn't make anything off of that deal. Think about that.
Mm.
You put us. I asked you to put us in some nice place and things like that. But, but creativity, you could have taken those relationships and did something really important with those. And he gave me the book, The Tipping Point. By Malcolm Gladwell. He got me back into out of the late learning that I was in, and got me back to be an opsimath, that late learner, but the necessity of my life to make sure that I was able to grow. He gave me this book and he says, you're the people inside this. You're the archetype, the few of the archetypes that make up this book. You're a salesman. You are a connector. You're masterful at connecting. And he says, I want you to know that connector in you and be able to know that you, in essence, make the world go round. You are the Paul Revere where the message got through to other people. It was other people that ran out and gave the message that the Reds are coming, the British are coming, but only Paul Revere is revered throughout history. For getting the message across. He was in auxiliaries. He knew how to connect people. He knew how to respect people, and he was able to give that back. So to answer your question and come back around to what that is, as I found out, and after I read the book a couple times, I started acting in a manner where I started owning what I was capable of and what my potential was in that value. And so confidence in that side of value, and that side of worth, and that side of facing our past and getting over it and leaving that luggage and coming back to ourselves and loving ourselves and hugging ourselves to get to higher self-esteem. Whatever that looks like, it all falls under the confidence people are going to see in you, and nobody will follow you or trust you or believe in you if you're not able to do it in yourself. That's why leadership is so profound, because it really is based on you being the ultimate, so people can be inspired to get to their highest possibilities.
Yes.
Vertical mindset.
Vertical mindset. Wow. So phenomenal. Oh my goodness. I can't believe time is going by so quickly. So Arthur, on Mindset Mastery Moments, we play a game that's called Flip the Script. I know you've heard it before. Flip the script. So the questions that we ask first is, give us a time when you had to flip the script of your own mindset. And what did that look like for you? It doesn't matter if it's humorous, if it's just any time when you just have to flip your mindset around all the way together so you can get going and keep winning like you are right now. I know there's a lot of moments.
It's so many. The first one that it comes to mind is me getting used. So I'm a top model.
Yes,
and
global, formal top model.
Global. Yeah, I hit higher levels and new practices of confidence every time that I walked through a new door, and this was a big door, a season of complete change where I had no footing when I first left from Detroit, Michigan, where I'm originally from, and I moved to New York. Right. I had no dreams, no aspirations at all of what moving would look like in such a big way. Everybody was moving down the block from their parents, or in the downtown of Detroit, or in the suburb. And I came to my mother one day after thinking about it and consideration of what I can do with my possibilities, what is possible if I had acted on great doors that were being open for me, just because of me being me and being that master connector of sorts.
Yeah.
And most people that I told were like, that guy's going to be back in a week. That guy is going to be back in a month. That guy won't make it to the summer, because I was moving in the beginning of January of 2000.
Right.
and everybody was expecting what they consider sometimes even being a mama's boy, which I wasn't. I just really took care of my mama. And we small side of my mother's side, we were only two. So people can mistake things. People can jump to conclusions. People can always put foots in their mouth without knowing how to get it out their butt first. So
I know. I have not heard that one before. You made me laugh out so loud. Not the butt.
People, people, people put their foot in any hole as an orifice, that had no reason to be there, but they think it should be there. Jumping to conclusion is always something that you want to stay away from. Staying away from assumptions and what that was. They didn't realize that I was the same young man that had my first business in 19, that dropped out of school from that and was working 2.5 jobs at a time sometimes to support, even while I was in college. And then when I left college, to support my business that made me zero money, and all that went somewhere. But nobody understood that resilient young man. Nobody understood that I was a great basketball player, understood I was a professional dancer and got a chance to dance for Aaliyah when she was, alive, to audition and got accepted, and what that looked like, even though and these are all stories that add up. But by the time I got to a place where I was in the next chapter of what that is, the next season of what that was, people were in doubt of what that is. And I didn't know what that looked like. But what I did know was, and this is what I really held, that I had did difficult things before that I did not have an inkling how to do in the right or even have the right perspective, or even wasn't realistic on sometimes at some points in my life. But I still made it through. I still went from one side of the bridge, even while it was snapping and breaking around me, to the other side of the bridge. And when you know how to connect, and when I hear the word flip, I think pancake first, but second, I think of
not a pancake.
But second, what I think of is
after this, I'm gonna want to have
getting. Yeah, but the second thing I think about, right, is that it's two separate pieces of land that you have to figure out how to get from one side to the other on.
Yes.
And when I got it, and 6 months into it, I kept up with it. And then a friend gets me a call, 6 months in, he sees me in a magazine. People in my church back home see me in a magazine. People see me in a commercial a year from that time, that I end up leaving from there and going to another. So these things added up because I kept going. And confidence, the last chapter, which is one of my favorites in the book, because I leave people with the understanding that no matter what it was in the past, start from the day. Start from the day. The today matters. Today matters, and it's so significant to just slow it down. Not make you got the dream in front of you, but when we believe in ourselves, we don't have to rush through it.
Yeah.
The belief, the confidence that comes from the courage, that confidence that we call courage, is being able to leap to the next side, to be able to climb to the next side, figuring out the way, but don't feel frustrated because you haven't done it before. Everybody gets to be new, and that takes courage too.
Wow, that takes courage too. Wow. Arthur, what is success for you?
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. No.
Okay, philosopher.
No.
Well,
So that's what happens when you're learning too much. I guess that is
Sounds
what.
really great. Say that again.
Yes, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It's Earl Nightingale and his book, what's it? I can't think of the last part of it, but the strangest
That's the
thing,
first thing that came to mind.
yeah, exactly. But because when you reading something over and over, and when you're showing repetition, you give yourself confidence. You are at a place where self-efficacy sets the pace, because you've been assertive and a full participant, a conscious participant in what you've been up to around your dreams, hopes, and ambitions. And so so those things leap out to you when you hear the word success and say progressive realization, the progressing of what I'm realizing or manifesting all the time, because I'm progressing and I've made it in my heart the worthy ideal. The worthy, right? The worthy step, the worthy, banner to carry as I walk through the streets of my daily life. As people encounter me, they understand what I'm about by not just what they see, but mostly what I do.
Right.
And so success is always giving that first rule of learning, right? Which is to copycat, right? The first rule, they tell you, hey, that's plagiarism on some level by the time you get to higher educations, right? But the learning process starts with replicating or repeating what you see somebody else in front of you do. Hopefully is the right people, and not the wrong people. But that's how we set the loops in our conscious, and that's how we live our lives by, that, whether that's going to work in our favor or not. So it's about breaking that. And success is the worthy ideal that helps touch our hearts.
Yes.
So our subconscious will say, this is important. Yeah, no matter what you might have failed in before or forgot before or didn't do well before, the success seed is dropped into that fertile soil because you were doing it and you knew it was worthy. That was your dream. So if you're moving towards your dream, if you're moving towards things that are difficult or, obstacles, or if you just feel, even if you feel out of breath, aspirated from what that can be for you at any given time in your life, remember that success comes from you feeling that you're worthy to attain all the things that you're after.
You're dreaming about. Yeah, I love it. Love it. That's well said. So Arthur, oh my goodness, I can't believe our time went by so quickly. Can you tell us how to stay connected with you, get a copy of your book, and become a part of the virtual mindset community?
Well, yeah. Listen, I'll tell you this, and a lot of people say, I can't afford another book. I got too many books. I got.
Oh my God.
I've heard people say I don't read.
People who say that, they need to flip the script.
Yeah,
There's never enough books. I read at least one per month, at least one. It's usually two, but this season, because of my schedule, it's at least one, sometimes two still, and sometimes three, depending on the length. But I'm reading deeper books, and some of my books I'm reading. But reading is the way you grow. Readers are leaders.
That's right. That's right. And that's why they have that quote.
Either or, flip it back and forth. It's the same thing. You got to read to lead.
That's right. That's right. But I only bring it up because, and even people say, I don't read, and I'm not a reader. Well, I wasn't either. That's why I call myself
an audiobooks. You like to listen?
Find out. Be in curiosity. Feed your curiosity. Jim Rohn says if you're not reading, it's just like you're illiterate anyway. You don't need, Because you're
not using the skill of it reading. So just
forgetting what that is. And so the first question that comes to mind is, what's the best way that I can learn again? How can I get back into stepping into learning again, and being and by way of learning, being productive? Because no matter how much action you're doing, I know people that's doing, several different things at once, and failing miserably at all of them. Because they haven't learned how to pace themselves over what that is. So, my book, The 11 Pillars of Confidence, will help you and give you tools to kind of set that in motion for you, to make sure that you're doing the little steps, what it takes, and not just be about in a rush everywhere. Things are important, as Stephen Arkabi, has in his book, the high traits of being productive, and when we understand high performance habits, we're able, and we take them on, we embrace them, and we say, this is serious. And we tell ourselves that every day. And we do little things every day. In a year, you're right there. So I help you along with tools on there in 11 Pillars of Confidence. Next, if you are even not reading at this time, or you have other books that you're saying you're going to do that you might not even get around to, and that's just what we do. Sometimes we get caught in these different variations of life where we put so much excuses on the things that we're going to do that we don't end up doing much of any of it. So I would say, get this book, put it in front of you, or at least put it on your counter table, or put it on your kitchen table, or put it on top of your bed, a counter, on the side of your bed, or in the windowsill. Put it somewhere where your eye can always be able to see that you get to do that, and do your best to make it an intention. And that's any book, not just mine. This is just because we are in a very important age of discovery, of technologies that, we have no idea we're going to do right now, or even just bombarded by information. If we're not protecting our brains now,
to be intentional.
Yeah, you have to be intentional. If we don't put these type of special things, not a novels. Don't read the novel. The novel's not going to get you the courage or put you give you the right tools to go from the job you hate to the job you love, or even becoming an entrepreneur. Even though you in your heart say, I want to be an entrepreneur, why would we shortchange ourselves? By letting those things happen? So put the intention in place, put it every day. Also, affirmations is great, but it's not a lot of planning and know-how in there. You get to put in there, write down at the back of every page of my book, as you're going through every chapter.
Implementation plan.
Yeah, implement your plan. Another thing Jim Rohn says, plan, put your plan to work, or your plan, it won't be any plan. You don't want to get caught up, put your plan to work, and your plan will start to work for you.
Yeah.
And if you know that, if you don't know that, now you know. Now you know. So you heard it from Arthur J. Rutledge. And then finally, on the side of it, I'll give you have my Instagram, which I'm on, giving quotes along the way, putting a lot of great stories in place on that side of it. My Instagram is Arthur's with an S, ARTHUR, not the author in the Arthur, but Arthur, ARTHURS_mindset. On that side of it, you have my website, which you can always go to and read about what I have coming up, and also sign up for my emails that I'll be sending out about great gifts and plans that I plan on putting out around my book, and events that I'll be doing, and what cities that I will be coming to and book signing in the near future, which is at www.verticalmindsetgroup.com.
And those links will be right there.
And LinkedIn as well. And you have LinkedIn as well. And you have Linktree, which you will hear some of Alisa's great voice on some of the great monumental talks coming out of 2020 on Linktree. So
yes,
Arthur J. Rutledge is there. So we have all of those. And then my articles, I would tell people, keep up with the articles as well. If you feel like you can't always get through a book, go through articles, break it down so you can get maybe something that doesn't feel as overwhelming into what that is. Because, we all, if we grind together, we shine together. And if you know what that looks like, you know how to move into it. But for those who don't, this is for the ones who don't have an understanding what that looks like yet. Finally, I said finally before, but I will say this, and it's just going back to kind of what we said. Make sure that you find out what your learning prowess, how you're going to be able to learn, and what's going to put the fire underneath your skillet to get hopping.
Yeah.
So you can you can flip either pancakes or houses or your life around in the best way that you ever thought you could.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, Arthur, thank you so much for sharing your insights on building confidence and the vertical mindset. It's been such an inspiring to hear all about the 11 pillars of confidence and the practical steps that we can all take to strengthen our self-belief. And for anyone who's interested in learning more about Arthur's work and the Virtual Mindset Group, the link and everything is in the description, wherever you're listening to this episode or you're watching it. So make sure to check out the links and listen. Remember that you have the power to create the mindset that will unlock your greatest potential. And until next time, Arthur and I are saying thank you for being a part of Mindset Mastery Moments. Keep leading, keep inspiring, and keep growing. We'll see you soon, and tune in for more from me and Arthur, because we're going to find something to do in 2025. Thank you, Arthur.
Oh, yeah. Next book coming out, so stay tuned.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.